This video is said to show a Russian drone dropping an explosive device on a civilian car in the Ukrainian city of Kherson. It is one of several videos shared on social media that purport to show ordinary Ukrainians being hunted by Russian drones. Here's what we know about the Russian drone attacks. A number of these videos have been shared on pro-Russian Telegram channels. In this one, a drone appears to follow a car along a street and turn a corner. When the car comes to a stop, the drone drops an explosive device. By analysing satellite images, the Wall Street Journal was able to corroborate the location the videos were filmed in.
So mostly they're using a commercially available drone called a Mavic that is usually used for surveillance, but they can also have munitions strapped onto them and then they drop those munitions. Both sides in the war have been doing this since very early on. But this is the first time that we're aware of, at least, that this has been done in a systemic kind of way, targeting civilians with these kind of drones.
It is not known how many individuals have been directly targeted in this way, but there have been more than 7,000 drone attacks in the city since July, according to the regional government, with some 400 civilians injured and over 20 killed. Ukraine says the problem has become so widespread it has installed billboards advising people on what to do if they encounter a drone.
Basically, right when you get into the city, you see how preoccupied people are with the threat of drones. People are just very skittish. Like when you see them opening doors, they will often sort of like open it a little bit and peek upwards like this and then decide if they want to go outside. There were hardly any cars, especially in the neighborhoods closer to the river, and there were very few people out on the street. There's lots of rumors among residents in Kherson about what's going on. Some think that perhaps they're using civilians for target practice, for training drone pilots. Other people think maybe they're going in search of military targets in Kherson and then just dropping the grenades on any old civilians if they don't find a military target.
Kherson was the first major Ukrainian city to fall to the Russians, before it was retaken by Kyiv's forces months later. After the city was liberated, the Russian army was driven back to the far side of the Dnieper River.
The Russians are just the other side of the river, less than a mile away. And so that puts them in range with any kind of drone of being able to reach just about any part of the city. And in most other places of the front line, the civilian population, except for maybe a few stragglers, are just backed much further away.
Ukraine's military have deployed electronic warfare systems to try to counter Russian drones in Kherson. But analysts warn this may not be enough.
The electronic warfare does not do a whole lot against the grenade dropping drones. The electronic warfare systems create kind of a bubble around you that cuts off the signal between the drone and the pilot. But the Mavics are dropping grenades from much higher up, usually above where that protective electronic warfare bubble would be. It's hard to see any kind of strategic advantage that the Russians might gain from this, but they're certainly making life in Kherson much more unpleasant and making many more people think about whether they should leave the city.